What's going on, guys? Rockley AC here, bringing you guys a deck profile. I know it's been a while, but just something that I've been brewing up for the past 2 weeks. Something that I've always wanted to remake since I got back into the game like 2 months ago. And one of my favorite decks, probably in Naruto, or at least one of the favorite themes, which is Tailed Beast. I know I've made, I think, one or two Tailed Beasts deck profiles in the past. And now with the TAOP Rogue List, kind of gives a little bit more flexibility to add certain cards that I probably wouldn't have had been played because of block format. When I played this, I think it was sets 22 and up or something like that. And I think it was like a large contribution because of Kage Summit and those kind of cards. So I liked a lot of the low turn drop Tailed Beast ninjas, I guess you could say, as opposed to like the higher drops that were released later in the sets. So this deck will kind of revolve around the lower drop kind of sense, because I like how they could rush in a little bit earlier. It's a little bit more consistent, I think, in my opinion, and yeah, it was just something that I was used to, and I like. Obviously, there's a lot of counters to this deck. It's a rush deck, so you know there are multiple ways to get around it. But if your opponent doesn't have an answer, first game, you could take the momentum from there and really put your opponent into a tough situation by trying to win games 2 and 3. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and start with the deck profile right now. I'll explain my choices of certain cards as we go, and yeah. Let's take it away with the turn 0 drops. I ran 3 Sasuke solos. Arguably one of the best 0 drops in the game, especially if you're playing Rush. 5-0 Ninja, swing for 2 prizes. Just way too good. If your opponent doesn't have an answer to this, or if they don't have like anything like a mental, user, it's gonna be wreck and face for them because he's just so powerful. Next 2 0 drops, I ran 2 Kisuke, ultimate jump blocker. He's dual element, which helps with both my hand costs. The 2 elements that I mostly play is fire and lightning. Comes back alive during the showdown and stuff, so he's just very powerful. 2 Tamaki. She searches out for your bartender cat. Because when she's deployed, you search your life deck for an animal ninja card with an entrance cost of 1 or less. Then shuffle your deck and put it to the top. So if I drop Tamaki on turn 0, search out for bartender cat, block Tamaki with whatever the 3-0 ninja or Sasuke or whatever, and then I'll be able to still have bartender cat. It's really essential to have that ninja out as early as possible so you can get your Angry and the Beast mission cards into your chakra area, so you can play those Tailed Beast ninjas early. But this helps with the consistency of the deck. One of the reasons why I play her is because she has the ability to search out for the cat. Next is 2 Gamma, another aggressive ninja. If you open up with, you can put it into teams also as well. 4-0 ninja. Really helps with my hand cost count again, whether that's missions and stuff or ninjas later on. But Gamma is a powerful card, and it's just another beef stick. Also, if I have stuff like 6 Paths mission, which I'll show in a little bit, Gamma by himself can hold its own. So, very good card. And then I ran 1 Kushina. I needed ways to generate chakra earlier so I could hit those powerful jutsus as early as possible, so I could have a leg up over my opponent. It also gives me a chance to maybe hit an Angry and the Beast from the top of my deck into my chakra, which is even a bonus. But she's good as a backup. She's limited 1 for a reason, for that early game chakra count. And I main deck 1 Pakun. I know a lot of people are like, what? Pakun? 0 drop? What does he do? For those who don't know, he's basically a ninja who prevents mental power battles. Valid teams cannot perform mental power battles, but not only that, he's a dual reason why I play him is his second effect. Your Kakashi ninja gets -2 entrance cost. I do run a 5-turn Kakashi, so bring him earlier is even broken. So I like the idea of that. So it serves two purposes. It's not just a single reason, but what is one of Rush's obvious weaknesses is mental power, and I want to make sure that nobody could start that with Sheikah Outwit, Sheikah Flex, anything with like powerful Earth, mental power. So it's good as a one of, and if I hit it, then that's great. And if I have a Kakashi out turn earlier, it can happen. It's happened before, where I was able to drop him on turn 3. And if I don't hit it, then it's no big deal. It's just another backup. It's a lightning symbol too if I need it, and it's a Fang attribute for stuff like Patriarch if I want to search out for Tail Beast. So yeah, it's a good one of card. I main deck it because it helps against what most people are running, which is mental cards too. One drops, 2 Bartender Cats. Cited for 2 because I already have some searchers, and I didn't think 3 was necessary. Bartender Cat is your engine though for manipulating your chakra. Basically, during your mission phase, you could pay a Fire, Lightning, or Water card, and then replace it with a Fire, Lightning, or Water card without ambush. So you're basically replacing whatever chakra that you paid for, maybe for early missions or a hard charge or whatever, for mainly angering the beast. And what I like about this card too is that it helps filter out your chakra area. So you could filter out those dead ninja cards, like if you're on turn 3 or 4 and Bartender Cat's still alive, you could pay that ugly chakra, look through your deck for like those turn 0 ninjas that you don't want to draw into, and just kill if they're there. So it helps again with that consistency and filtering of the deck, which is one of the reasons why I don't run so much hand I guess draw, because I do have other ways to make my deck consistent. I know that sounds weird at the moment, but some people run like the 40 missions at draw. This is the kind of deck that doesn't do that, which is its downside. If you do catch yourself with a bad hand and your opponent is discarding your hand, that's a big disadvantage. But there are certain ways around that I put in this deck that can help counteract those different scenarios. So yeah, Bartender Cat is one of those low-key kind of fix your deck kind of draws. You're not going to draw a lot out of this Rush deck. Rush in general doesn't draw a lot unless you're playing like super hardcore Warhawk type things, and you don't want to draw dead. So Bartender Cat helps fix that. And it also has Fang for Patriarch if you want to search out. Other one drops include 1 Tamari and 1 Karen. Tamari, of course, if I want to hit that early game Tail Beast Bomb, I want to make sure it hits on the right ninja, or just really just push for aggro. Tamari is great. And then Karen, because some of my Tail Beasts don't have valid effects, such as like 5 tails, and that's such a powerful effect. I want to make sure my Tail Beasts are healed, and that I'm able to push, aggro. Karen helps with that. Has ambush. You could pitch her in with like monster research or something like that. But regardless, I think these are 2 great ninjas to have as kind of like tech, but also protection. I don't run any 2 drops because by then I would like to hit my Angering the Tail Beast, which would help bring 2 tails out. And I guess while I'm at it, I'll show the mission Angering the Beast, which one of the main reasons of playing this deck is to bring out your Tail Beast quicker. So yeah, basically you could ignore the top part, the target, read the very bottom card of this mission, and then I'll review this later. While this mission card is in your chakra, all your Tail Beast ninjas get -1 entrance cost. So if you're on turn 2 and you have this on your chakra, in your chakra pile, you can bring out 2 tails, which is originally an entrance cost 3, bring him in and turn earlier. What's nice is that this affects stacks. So if I happen to maybe Kushina Angering the Beast, and then next turn Bartender Cat for another Angering the Beast, I can bring this out as early as turn 1. Probably not Bartender Cat, but you know, get lucky with like another Angering the Beast or something like that. It is possible, or something out of my hand. It is possible to bring out your 2 tails early. And they all stack. Even my higher ninjas, you know, bring out my 5 tails earlier, or 6 tails out early. You know, Angering the Beast is great for that kind of threshold requirement. So 2 tails along with Angering the Beast helps ignore turn cost requirement in a way, and 2 tails helps kind of your aggro, gets you started with everything. When this ninja is put into play, you could reveal a Tail Beast ninja card from your hand. In that case, move your turn marker up by 1. This allows you to, on your turn 2, move up to turn 3 if you reveal another Tail Beast, and then maybe playing your like high drop missions like Warhawk maybe on essentially what your turn 2 is, which is broken. Having access to, you know, that early mission is amazing. And then when you're not playing like a fire deck, if their only mission negation is like self-conversation or secret book or something like that, and if you go first, you're going to be, you know, on turn 3 before they're even on turn 3 to negate. So a lot of little combos here that could help, and you know, 2 tails, you know, really helps with that. Also, valid effect: when a Tail Beast ninja is battling by itself, this ninja gets +1. That ninja gets +1 for each Tail Beast ninja battling by itself. So if I have three animal ninjas or 3 Tail Beast ninjas battling by themselves, they each get +3 combat power, because they're each going out +1. So 2 tails would be like an 8-0. So you could imagine, you know, the aggressiveness in that. 3-drop Sakura CP. Shout out, by the way, to Mardo. Mardo has been making proxy cards for a couple of the player bases here. I know Dashi had some cards made for him, and then Mardo recently made me some proxies. Has a clear white background, so you're gonna have to kind of you know, use the right sleeves or whatever. But it's beautifully done. Pretty much the majority of the cards come out clear because of the images. I know he said he's still improving and wants to improve on his card quality, but I think this is like fucking amazing. Like this is really beautiful. Like this, I mean, I love the foils in this game, but just like being able to see like the color, you know, and how vibrant it is in the background, you know, the artwork, you know, it's amazing. You know, I wish Bandai still made this game. But yeah, Sakura, shout out to Mardo for making this proxy. If you guys need cards, I know it's difficult to get cards right now, physical copy cards, but if you need some cards, proxies aren't that bad. If you want to feel like you have something that's not, you know, paper thin like printed out material, this is thicker. This is a lot thicker than the paper, and it feels pretty much exactly like the thickness of the regular Bandai cards. So if you guys want, you know, solid quality work, and you don't want to, you know, have a cheap ass proxy from like, you know, your own computer paper, hit up Mardo, PM him. You know, he'll give you a deal on them. He'll proxy your whole deck if you have to. If you're going to Gen Con, well worth it. But I just wanted to give him a shout out for the work that he did. I know I told him, but this video will probably help provide accurate work. So if you guys can see this, it's beautifully done, super clear. From far away, you can't even tell. I mean, for those who obviously know, Sakura is a foil, but I mean, from far away, you can't tell, you know. But yeah, Sakura. Anyways, turn 3, she's that extra boost of battle awards. So basically, you pay 2 chakra, gets +3/+3, and when this ninja wins any victory, you win 1 battle award. Pair this up with stuff like my 7 tails, who gets a battle award if a tail beast wins a victory by itself. And just that early aggro rush, you know, Sakura just gives that nice little push that you need, and she definitely is, you know, an MVB card in this deck. 4 drops. slash 3 drops slash 2 drops. Again with Angering the Beast. 2 Four Tails. Four Tails is dirty. One of my favorite tail. I mean, a lot of them, pretty much all of them, are my favorite tail beasts, but definitely this one I put over the top. When a tail beast ninja you controls would receive damage during the showdown, you can give 1 damage to 1 opposing ninja. This could help against annoying ninjas that you want to shut off their effects. Say that somebody's not thinking and they're just hitting you hard, and they have like a Soigetsu or something like that, or some type of ninja that you just really hate. Maybe Kiba Wild Fang if you want to do some jutsus. Four Tails, block it, then you could give a damage to that ninja. Any ninja with like a non-valid effect too, you know, that'd be awesome to do as well. But essentially, people should know by now that once you attack into Four Tails, someone's gonna get hurt. You know, that's basically his theme of his card, his effect. And then also the non-valid effect is when a tail beast ninja you controls receives any damage or removed from play by a jutsu, deal 1 damage to the user of the jutsu. So if somebody feels like they're gonna be, they want to take out your 2 tails or your 5 tails or whatever through a jutsu, they're gonna get damaged in the process. And that, you know, can make a big difference when people want to swing or not, saying that, oh, maybe one of their main ninjas are injured already and they don't want to get damaged, they don't want to get killed. You know, it really puts pressure on your opponent, which is why I like the Four Tails, because he gives that again that random pressure. That, I mean, you could draw all the cards you want in the world, but if you have like effect like Four Tails, you're gonna do that damage, and you're already dealing damage. If you're being aggressive, you know, it might make your opponent think twice about attacking. So yeah, he's a very powerful card. One of my other favorite tail beast ninjas is Five Tails. When one of your tail beast ninjas wins any victory, you draw a card. This is one of the reasons why I don't run so much draw engine. I don't necessarily want to rely on this card, but it can net you 1 or 2 cards every now and then, maybe for 1 or 2 combats, and that could help make a difference because your opponent can just be discarding cards out of your hand, and then you could just maybe filter out with Five Tails and draw a couple cards here or there. And not only that, that's why it's important to hit your curve so that you can put a lot of pressure. Your opponent wants to block maybe Five Tails so that his effect doesn't go off, but at the same time your other ninjas are swinging through for either battle awards or damage. So that's the pressure that this deck kind of gives upon your opponent, because it's like, oh, you know, if I block Four Tails, I'll get a damage, or if I block Five Tails, you know, he's going to push through. If I don't block whatever, you know, he's going to be drawing 1 or 2 cards. It really makes your opponent think a little bit more than usual. Even though Tail Beast is a very linear deck, it still puts, you know, pressure on the back of your opponent's head, because you're like, oh shit, maybe you might have a Tailed Beast Bomb or something like that, or something behind other than just, you know, aggro. So Five Tails is definitely one of my favorite, and he's just really dope looking. I mean, just like majestic looking ass. One Hidan. Hidan was played a lot during block format, and he is definitely no exception to a deck like this. Hidan could easily be put in play through multiple effects. He could be Jutsu fodder from your Tail Beast Bomb. He could be literally searched out through Bartender Cat. You could just charge Hidan or use Hidan as a cost. Use Bartender Cat to filter him out in your discard pile and bring him out through your battle rewards. I haven't seen too many people play this card. I know there's like a lot of like space and deck building, you know, variety within the other decks, but he's still good. He's still amazing. When this ninja would be removed from the game, you can move it to your discard pile instead. So he's like ultimate immortal soul, which is basically what he is. But yeah, during your attack or mission phase, give your opponent 1 battle award as a cost. If your turn marker is equal or greater than this ninja's card's entrance cost, put this ninja card in play from your opponent's discard pile. Or sorry, from your discard pile. So yeah, again, you're gonna activate him from the discard pile. You give your opponent 1 battle award. He's put in play. Amazing. Again, there's multiple ways to get him in the discard pile, and also with this is the ability to chump block. If you're down, you can chump block because he's going to come back alive. Another free ninja drop just for a battle award, I think isn't too bad. Also, you're moving up your turn marker up with 2 tails. So most of the time. So if you hit that with 2 tails, you're gonna hit turn 4 quicker. You can put your Hidan into play and have another chump block ninja or whatever sooner. And probably one of the most important part is squatting or reinforcing into curse mode, which could get you another cheese ball fries for 1 battle award. So him paired up with Sakura for that battle award, paired up with 7 tails when they battle alone, they're in a battle award, are your closers for this deck basically. So Hidan, he's amazing once you get to turn 6, which hopefully you can because you're moving up a turn marker a lot of times during the matchups. Then he's very valuable. 5 drops, aka 4 drops, or even 3 drops, is 2 7 tails. I ran 2 because again his ability is just so good in this deck, and I wanted to make sure that I get those prizes. When a tail beast ninja you controls wins any victory, and it's a team by itself, you win 1 battle award. And then also what makes 7 tails really powerful is that during your mission phase you could pay 1 chakra, and you could play an Angry and the Beast mission card from your chakra area as though it was in your hand. If you do, remove it from the game afterwards. So you could literally play Angry and the Beast mission, which separates a certain ninja from its team to battle against, the 7 tails or whichever tail beast. A very powerful effect, and again, it combos well with the theme of battling by itself. Essentially, you want these ninjas to battle by themselves or make big teams by themselves so that your opponent is pressured to block whatever tail beast, and yeah, it's very good. 1 5 drop Kakashi. I settled for this Kakashi because I just think his effect is so good, and again, it was very reminiscent of the block format. He was probably one of the best Kakashis at that time. When this ninja attacks by itself, it cannot be blocked by a ninja that has the same combat attribute, so it has Genjutsu. I know there's a lot of people who run Genjutsu, but I do have some removal, such as Tail Beast Bomb. And if I happen to go against a deck that runs a lot of Genjutsu users, then I most likely will use them as a chump blocker, so that I could use Inherit onto one of my Tail Beasts, which makes it even more powerful, because the Tail Beast would get that Inherit effect. So people who don't know Inherit, it says it right here, it's valid. When this ninja would be discarded, remove it from the game instead. In that case, target ninja you control gets this ninja card's effect, except Inherit, as long as that ninja remains in play. So they would get that attack by itself, cannot be blocked by ninja that doesn't have Fang, and mostly your opponent doesn't really run Fang unless they're like maybe like Kiva Wild Fang or something like that. And I think he's a Fang attribute, but basically Kakashi serves those purposes. He could swing for early battle awards if your opponent is not playing Genjutsu. Those are 2 free prizes on top of your Tail Beast that can earn prizes. Maybe Tail Beast, pair up your Tail Beast with like Sakura CP or something like that, and Kakashi to swing out for like 4 prizes. There's a lot of ways to win little prizes here or there. So I had to accommodate, the extra draw power for free cheese prizes, which I think helps. One last ninja, one last tail beast is an old school one. It's 6 tails, the Slug. I love this card. It's very techy, very tricky, and although it may not be the best ninja to send out to battle, it's valid effect at the end of your turn. At the start of your turn, draw 2 cards. Another reason why I don't run so much draw power in a way, or at least I wanted to run certain cards that would help me with draw power, is because of this. 6 tails, valid X. X equals the number of cards in your hand. This effect cannot be negated, which is nice. So if they comp strength you, your bottom effect wouldn't be affected. Your bottom effect would be affected, but your top effect wouldn't be affected at all. So it's great, the number of cards in your hand. If you have 3, 4, 5, it'd be a great support ninja. Not necessarily something that you want to send out, because you probably by turn 5, 6, 7, you might not have a hand. But What's nice is that Six Tails helps replenish your hand, helps get you 2 cards automatically. So it doesn't matter if your opponent is discarding cards from your hand, you're going to get 2 cards, maybe something that you can help pay for a cost, maybe another ninja, maybe another game-breaking jutsu. I like it. And Six Tails, again, with your Angling the Beast, can be brought out as early as turn 4. That's why it's important to filter out your chakra, because you still run big ninjas like Seven Tails and Six Tails that could just get really annoying. And I definitely want to test them out. Missions. These are my draw missions and search missions, I guess you could say. You start off with 3 monster research. Monster research is one of the best missions in the game. I mean, draw 4, make 2 piles. Your opponent has to choose. Make them play mind games. It's just, it's just really good. 3 Warhawk. The sacrifice I make to pitch cards for Battle Awards is worth it in this kind of deck, because you want to have an aggressive start by turn 3. You want to be able to push aggressively, maybe with jutsus or whatever. So being able to have a high count like that is really important. I ran 1 Patriarch. I didn't feel like so many was necessary, because I felt like I had enough tutors for my draws. I ran Tamaki, had Bartender Cat for Angry and the Beast, and you know, if I hit it, then I hit it. But I didn't feel like 2 or 3 was necessary. Maybe I could do 2, but you know, 1 I think is perfectly fine. And I ran 1 Sage Training. Sage Training is just so good in this deck. The problem with rush decks is that if you don't kill your opponent in the first like 4 or 5, you know, 3, 4, 5 turns, or if you don't have like an overwhelming advantage, your late game is going to suffer, because you're not built to last past turn 4 or 5. I kind of built my deck with a couple backup opportunities in case it happens. And this is something that's always been, you know, tossed back and forth, as, you know, as a deck builder, you know, do you want to add so much tech or protection or backup just in case your main theme doesn't work? And for the general consensus of things, you know, I like to build my deck that fits the theme. You know, if you're going to be aggro, you know, go all out, go aggressive. Don't include like a so many turn 6 ninjas or 5 ninjas, or, you know, those later drops, because that's really not, you know, that's going to take away from your theme. Or adding too much tech cards into your deck can really ruin your main concept. So I didn't want to run so many things that were too out of the norm. But, you know, in this case, where there are so many multiple decks, you don't know exactly what you're facing, you might run into random decks that will stall you and will keep you from playing certain cards or rush. You know, that's why I main deck Pakun, because, you know, there could be those mental decks that just play mental all the time, and you're not able to do something until like those later drops where you have like big jutsus. So in my kind of argument, you want to have some backup in case your main theme doesn't work. But I think for the most part, you know, as long as you don't have too much tech, as long as you don't have too much cards that don't go according to your theme, you know, you'll be fine. But Sage Training, I think, is like super dirty in this deck, because you can move 1 lightning, 1 fire card, and 1 wind card from your discard pile and your chakra area to your hand. I run several of those elements, and pretty much all my jutsu share the same element, which I'll tell you later. But being able to grab those jutsus, 2 or 3 jutsus out of your chakra or discard pile, is huge. And not only that, you could grab a missing tailed beast that you just haven't been able to drop yet, which share all these symbols, of course, because of all those dual elements. So Sage Training, I think, was a very, very good backup for that push that you need later in the game. The next set of missions are more so tech missions that also complement the game state. But let me go ahead real quick with Angry and the Beast, since that's like one of the main mission cards. So like I said earlier, This is in your chakra area. All your tail beast ninjas get -1 interest cost. But if you use it as a regular mission, it's still not that bad. Target one of your tail beast ninjas, and then also one of your opponent's ninjas. Remove those targets from the teams. Both of the targets must be sent out to battle during this turn by themselves and can only be opposed by each other. So remember those annoying ninjas that you just like really hate? Kiba Wildfang, Soigetsu, maybe some mental ninjas, and you know that you have the upper hand on this. Put the tail beasts against one of those ninjas, and they're going to be sent out to battle against each other. You could OV them. You could play a jutsu. You could get a battle award out of it. You could draw out of it, depending on which tail beast goes against it. It's very, very powerful. This card is another way to single out certain opponents that like to put, powerful teams together. You can separate that team out and just really wreck face. Another card that likes to separate teams out, probably one of my favorite cards in this deck, is the Six Paths. A lot of people ran this in their aggressive aggro decks, and they have every right to be, and I maximize the amount of it because it is really, really important in this format, I think, to separate ninjas to go one-on-one. The only other decks out there that I've really seen that could survive single battles is NVS. I mean, they're built to have Genins go against each other, power them up through like nice guy pose or little pumps here and there, and just go from there. But the Six Paths allows you to separate into those powerful tail beast teams, swing out with 3 so that you're swinging out with like 8, 9, 10 combat against an opponent's 3, 4, 5 combat, being able to win victories, get some prizes, draw some cards, do some effects, use some random stuff, and be able to separate your opponent's strategy. When you build a Naruto deck, majority of the decks are built to have ninjas within teams. That's the point of the deck, is build your squad, build your team of 3, and then swing. The Six Paths ruins that kind of idea, and unless you can survive a couple turns with just a single ninja, that's good. But for most of the time, your ninjas are going to be much more powerful than your opponent's ninjas. They're going to be swinging out. They're going to be losing their support. They're going to be losing like their key ninjas. They're going to have to be pressured to use jutsus early, and you could really ruin your opponent's what's it called? Groove, or there's a better word than groove. I can't think right now. But momentum, there you go. You can just really ruin your opponent's momentum by dropping this early. So again, like I said, Gamma is a 4-0, Sasuke is a 4-0. Those ninjas can, benefit from playing the Six Paths. Separate those ninjas in teams. Or if I'm like really, really drawing bad early game or something like that, I could just draw Six Paths so that I could just chump block with like weaker teams until my tail beast gets out. This is a turn 1 mission, permanent 3 turns. You're most likely going to have a tail beast by then, 1 or 2 maybe, just for those 3 turns, and you're able to swing out. So one of my favorite cards, definitely. Another amazing card is Exhaustion. This is kind of a tech, but both players discard their chakra. Draw 1 for each player who discarded 3 or more chakra during this turn. A lot of my friends play heavy missions, heavy jutsus, and the best part about that is just wiping away the chakra, all that hard work that your opponent did, down the drain. Peace out. Get your own chakra out of this, playing Exhaustion, and then play your jutsu, and then your opponent's just gonna cry. They can really only chain to so much once their chakra is depleted. So Exhaustion is a very, very nice tech against like OTK, against decks that want to chain over and over again, against like Lightning. It's a very aggressive mission, and you really want to hit this like mid-game where your opponent thinks that they're gonna, or even late game actually. This is really good for like late game. Again, it's a backup for when you're running out of options. Your tail beasts can only survive by themselves, and your opponent has jutsus, but too bad, you can drop that. Speaking of jutsus, let's go with the jutsu lineup. 3 tailed beast bombs. These are proxies. Of course, I still want the real ones. Hopefully, one day I'll get them again. Discard 1 ninja mission or negate and discard a jutsu. Super broken. One of the best jutsus in the game. Next, 2 Fear by Genjutsus. Look at this. This is a proxy by Mardo. Look how beautiful that is. Mardo's probably blushing right now in his shorts right now, just having me praise him. But no, it really is beautiful. Again, even without the foil, it looks you know, great. But yeah, this pushes people into standby. So good. And then last jutsu is Hydro Pump. What can I say? It's another game winning jutsu. I'm gonna hurry it up because I don't have too much time, and I didn't know this was gonna be a 30-minute deck profile. I'm sorry, guys, but it gives you guys something to watch, right? Side deck. 2 Hinas. Gotta run Hinas in every sideboard. It's probably the perfect sideboard for any kind of meta that you don't know what's going. You know, Mildex, Moroku, anything that's good out there. 2 interruptions. You're gonna need like some type of mission negation if your opponent's trying to plan to win like through NBS or any like game-breaking missions that are like broke. It's good to side them in. I just didn't have space. 2 Quiet Day. I like Quiet Day because it negates text effects of ninjas. My Tail Beast doesn't really necessarily need text effects because they're going to be powerful by themselves. Especially if I have the 6 paths in play, they're battling by themselves. They don't need that extra, but it's a good negation. In addition, I ran 1 Saburo because it helps with the fire cost. Ran 1 Kiba just in case. I go against like a heavy jutsu deck. Again, exhaustion's pretty good, but Kiba is a very annoying ninja to go against, and when he's sent to the battle, players can't play jutsus. Suigetsu, another great card if you don't know what's your opponent's playing. Negate effects. And 1 Passing Fates because all my lightning ninjas get +1. That's pretty much all my Tail Beast ninjas, and it helps against mill. You pay 2 chakra, you move up to 3 cards from your discard pile to the bottom of my deck, and you can just draw them again. And then it's running out. These are my extra deck, blah blah blah, all that good stuff. So yeah, thanks for watching. Rate, comment, subscribe. Peace out, YouTube.